Good evening, my fellow travelers on spaceship Earth. It is I. So, tonight is going to be a short show. I don't know if I added... Oh, I didn't put Kayan's streams back on. Sorry, Kayan. That was an experiment from last night. I was experimenting, and I'm still experimenting apparently today. It wasn't intended to go 3. Anyway, going short tonight, but I'm going to do this and have George. Hi, George. How are you, George? Yeah, me too. Man. You're a goofball. You're a weird little floof. You know that? You're such a weird little floof. You're not even a little floof anymore, though. A weird big floof. So I am trying to figure out How to set joints and how to do this around a cat's butt. Because we have a cat's butt right here. Those of you who are wondering what a cat's butt is, why'd you do that? You're like, stop talking. I love you. You're a weird cat. They don't want your butt. I think so. No. I mean, seriously, I really do not want your butt. Oh, come here. You really are a strange little animal. You know that, right? You're just a strange animal. You are a strange animal. You're my strange animal, which is extremely useful. But you're still a strange animal. I'm just saying. All right. Back to work for us. All right. So I brought up a see if I can move this all the way over here. And then that way I can move this all the way over here. And then not worry about that. And then I can just bring up this joint piece, put it right over here. And then that way I can see if somebody actually says something in here. And the fact that there's not really anybody here yet is kind of cool. Because that means I might be able to fix up. Something has been moving because these are now on top of one another. And I don't know if I like that. I think part of it is I wouldn't know because I can't see it very well. So what I'm going to do is take this, go into edit mode, and naked mode. Yeah, see, it's not lined up right. Unsure why, but it's not lined up right. So we're going to have to line it up. Moreover, it looks like there's an angle change here, which makes me wonder if this was after I changed some angle in here. This looks very much not aligned with that angle. There. There we go. The next thing I was going to do, on object mode, I was going to put in the landing gear door. So let's go ahead and do that. Add mesh. Cube. Go into naked mode because it's easier to see inside, especially inside the engine leg itself, because I don't want to mess up my. So this is an air intake on the bottom here. That's this. It's an air intake, and that's an air intake on the top to feed this whenever we go to an air engine. But that means that we've got to make sure that no matter what, the landing gear sits back here so that it's not inside that air intake. And it's kind of hard to see the leg at all at this point in time because it's difficult to kind of visualize what's going on in there. But that's all right. We'll figure it out, right? Yeah, so this is the square of which we want to get into. And the zone we want to be in is there. And no less or more. In fact, the minimum that we can get in there, the better. The more we can imagine that the air intake kind of comes up and over that. This is one of those. Then there will be a door like that, which will probably be two pieces. A forward piece and then the after piece, which goes sideways. Which makes me kind of think that one of the things I might want to do, just to ensure that this ends up looking correct, is doing kind of this weird little trick I've done before, this and then this. What these are will ultimately be the pivots for the door, the divots for the door, if you will. So the forward bay door goes that way. That's a divot for it. In fact, we could probably even take this and drop it down so that it's not quite as oppressive, but that'll give it sort of that effect of having a divot for the door. So when the forward door opens, I can make it be a door with a hinge so that when it comes open, which it will, still kind of looking at what's here. So from the engine's point of view, looking down the maw of the engine, I can clearly see over the... Good evening, Brent. I can clearly see over the landing gear box to the air intake. So that air intake will have a clear view into the engine port. The upper air intake is not as big of a deal. It's that lower air intake that we've got to kind of work on. How are you doing this evening, Brent? Are you prepped and ready to go? That is excellent. I mean, not excellent necessarily. I'm going to miss you, but, you know, that is excellent for the point of this. We're not going to stay on late tonight because I didn't sleep well last night, and I woke up at like 3 and then just couldn't go back to sleep. So got up and got to work and stuff like that. And I've been up since 3. So I got, whatever that is, like 2 hours of sleep or something stupid. So I'm going to put in the landing gear doors. And see, I can't perceive which direction we're going with this guy. All of a sudden, I just lost complete focus on the aircraft. There we go. That's why. So I'm going to put in the gear doors on this, and then I'm going to call it a night. We'll head off to Florida. So what we've got here is this piece represents just the hinge for the door. So when the door hinges open, they open inside these hinges. And all I'm making sure is that the gear door isn't blocking the engine intake. That's the intake right here. That's the lower air intake. But the lower air intake has a FOD deflector inside it, because the lower air intakes are going to be right up on the ground. The upper air intake pulls in air more whenever it's on the ground, and once it's airborne, it pulls in from both sides. Anybody who's ever worked with aircraft, especially jets, know that they like to suck in everything. They're like children. They're like 5-year-olds. They pick up anything that's on the tarmac. So you need to kind of struggle with them a little bit to get them to stop sucking in foreign objects a lot. So just making it look a little tapered, give it a little bit of a shape. And then I think I'm happy with this. So now what I'll do is I'll go back into object mode, grab you, go over here, grab my Boolean, difference, pull it, pop it. Right? And then hopefully, if we did this right, there we go. Nice and clean. And now we have a landing bay door. Or at least part of one. There's a front piece here, which will open this way. And there's a side piece here, which will open this way. And then the gear will cycle down and rotate down until it locks into place right here. I don't know why this is so much fun for me, but it is. So, there's that. I don't know. Think I need anything else on this. I think that's pretty much all I'm going to mess with for today. There's the intakes, top and bottom. The top intake actually takes advantage of the slipstream, which is coming through here, coming through this gap in the wing. So it takes in that forward air intake right there. And then the lower air intake is there. They both feed the air engines, which are on the bottom. These are space boosters, so they're for boosting in space. So they don't need to have intakes because they're nuclear fuel. Still feel like that. Something went really weird because this flap, our aileron in the background here, is just so weird because it's really like an elevon, but it's not straight. I don't know what's going on. why it's so confused. It is super confused. I don't know. Something's really weird. Like it was all aligned properly, and then it just stopped being aligned properly all of a sudden. I'm not sure what that was all about, but we will align it again, and it will be fine. I must have grabbed it somewhere along the line while I was doing work on the top side of the spacecraft. Sometimes with 3D models, it does things. I'm not sure why it's doing the things, but it's doing the things. So, there we go. That elevon is correct now, even though it still looks twisted. It only looks twisted because that wing is actually twisted. So there's that. All right. There we go. Now we need to talk about the hip joint. And the first thing I think we should do is just go on ahead and seal the body up. I feel like the body is, we're done with the body now. That body is solid and it's good, so I'm going to go on ahead and seal it up. Watertight. Apply. And now it is what it is. It is now a body that looks just like that. All right, that's good. All right, so the next problem we've got is the hips. Because this guy walks chicken leg, so he's going to walk backwards with a reverse leg. And the landing gear will be on the inside. That's kind of cool. Make it so I don't have to worry about the landing gear in general. Knowing this leg's going to be chicken leg, though, we should probably run ahead. move this guy now. It'll move the whole unit, which is what we're looking for at this moment. Take this now, rotate him 90 degrees forward. And then flip him quite a bit forward. And that is about where we want this guy to be. All right, so if he's walking in walk mode, that's where that thruster goes. So how much leg do I need here? Not actually as much as I thought I needed. I do feel like though he should be further. That leg should be much further back. Because if it's going to stand, it's going to need to stand. There's a lot of weight in the back there. Although, this is future whatever, so it doesn't really have to be this way. It can be like that. I do think it's going to look great with the gear in. All right. So the hip, because that's quite a ways down. It's going to be in naked mode. Oh, man. And like the Logan, this guy only has a Gerwalk mode. And even that's questionable. It's not really Gerwalk per se. It just has the legs forward. Is this something where I could just have it? I'm just trying to like think it through. Because I'm not going to lie, this looks pretty kick-ass right here. Just with the leg, one leg out, it looks pretty cool. It's in there. If I had it loaded up with some space-to-space missiles, maybe a torpedo or two on the wingtips. Okay, so let's talk about the distance we need to cover between the leg joint and the knee joint. So we got to go from here-ish to here-ish. I mean, we haven't gotten to the point where I'm actually trying to do anything yet. Okay, so we take you, and let's just fold you back up to your original design. So we'll rotate you back to center. Right. And then it's 90 degrees this way. And 90 degrees up. And we're going to run into the problem I could see in my head. I'm not sure what to do about this. And that is, once we place this guy back under here, where he belongs, in this unit container right here, well, I should probably rotate him the other direction so that he fits in real nice. But once we do, the question will then be, how do I get this leg piece to fit properly under here? Now this is going to be here. That engine has to be pointed straight back. I have enough space and clearance in here to do stuff. The question really is, what does this huge long leg piece do in the meantime? Where does it go? And I could line it through here and then just have it so that it extends out and snaps around. That might actually be kind of cool. Now we're looking at this piece here, and Right, line him straight like so. And we could just place that like this. And that wouldn't, well, the problem is it is in one of the intakes, isn't it? Yeah, but it doesn't have to be. I can raise it. It's not in an intake at all. All right. I think this is the way we're going to do this. All right. My eyes are starting to burn. We don't have much longer. Let's line that up through the middle there. We'll come back in tomorrow and work on it. I wonder if I could double join it in some way. All right. I think that's all I want to do tonight. I am so starting to lose coherency and kind of falling apart here. She looks pretty cool so far. She's got 6 hard points for a small fighter, space to space fighter. That's not bad. So it is definitely time to be sleepy and land there. Just gonna say it. So, all right, my friend. Safe travels tomorrow, huh? Well, see you on the flip side. And everybody else, I hope you have a wonderful evening. And I will see you all. Oh, I will not be on tomorrow morning. I have a doctor's appointment. So I will not see you tomorrow morning. I will have to see you tomorrow evening. So I will see you tomorrow evening. And as always, keep your eyes on the stars. Good night, everybody. Bye bye.